Hey yogis, Kit Kat here. Welcome to this tutorial. We're just going to work a little bit into the hips this morning. So if you are ready to join me, grab your rubber rectangle. I've got two because I'm going to change directions. You probably only need one. So we're going to start today in Vedasana, which is butterfly pose. So grounding the sit bones into the earth. And sometimes we have our Vedasana all the way up here, so the heel's quite close to the groin. This variation, we're starting a little bit further away. We're going to reach forward to the toes. I'm just going to start a gentle rocking action. You can feel the right knee going down to the floor and the left. So a little bit of activation there. Taking inhale and exhale breaths as we gently rock side to side here. Next on the agenda is we are going to butt walk forward. So I am walking my butt cheeks forward towards my heels, and I can feel this tightening up in my groin, in my hip area already. And then I'm going to just start to take a little bit of a butt walk back. Harder in one direction than it is in the other. Perfectly okay. I'm going to challenge myself by walking forward just one more time, bringing my heels a little closer to my groin, or my butt closer to my heels, and then walking back. Again, keeping that rock and roll going. So feeling a little bit of warmth coming into my body from that action. Settling back into my Vedasana. So my feet are a little bit of a distance, probably about 2 feet away from my groin. I'm going to take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, take the right hand down to meet the left knee and take a little twist, gazing over that left shoulder. Pressing this right hip into the ground, you might even feel an opening of that knee. Keeping both hips grounded and connected to the earth. As you inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, gazing over that left shoulder. Bringing your gaze back to front. You're going to inhale the arms up over the head and release the left hand down to the right knee. That right hand comes behind you. You can gaze over the right shoulder. This time pressing the left knee back down towards the earth. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale is going to allow you to deepen the twist and gaze over that right shoulder. One more round of breath. And then we're going to come back to center. Take the arms up and over the head with that inhale. And as you exhale this time, we're going to lean forward and reach the hands beyond the feet. Now, if this is a challenge for you, reaching beyond the feet, just reach to the feet, wherever is working for you today. The sensation that I want you to feel is one of pushing back. So the butt is pushing into the earth, almost like you want to slide backwards, and the feet are moving forward. From here, we're going to roll into the spine, so it's like your cat stretch, and allow the head to come down towards the earth. So it's like this constant game of traction, where I want to feel that action of sliding back, and I want to feel the action of pressing the feet away. And with each inhale breath, feel a little bit of length, and as you exhale, surrender the body down. Together we're going to take another 3 rounds of breath here. Exhale, surrender. Taking the breath into any areas of tension and just allowing your body to relax. So much of our yoga practice, or our asana practice, is around finding that connection to breath and using the breath to open and release ourselves into the shape instead of fighting it. As you find your next inhale, come back up to center, grab hold of those feet, and we're going to take our little butt walk, and we're going to walk our butt back towards our heels. So I'm going to interlace our fingers and place the hands around the end of the toes. Take an inhale breath and lengthen through the back body. I want you to have the sensation of pressing the knife edge of your feet into the mat. And as you lengthen through the back body, you're going to feel the pelvis, or the sit bones are grounded on the mat. And as you exhale, you're going to feel a little bit of a spreading of the sit bones. And as you do this, maybe you can feel the release of the knees down to the earth. So as you inhale, lengthen through the back body, press the knife edge of the feet into the earth. Feel the sit bones ground and connect as you lengthen through the back body. Just allowing that release of the knees to come down to the earth. Not always the easiest posture or shape, and certainly not for me either. So we're all in it together, my friends. Okay, exhale and release from that shape. I want you to take the hands behind the body, and I'm just going to turn side on for you here. So hands behind the body, and press the hands into the earth, or you can come up onto the fingers or onto the whole finger. We're going to inhale and lift the butt up off the earth and press the groin towards the heels. So a little bit of a different opening here. Lift the heart center. We're just going to take another 2 breaths together. Inhale, exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2. And release all the way down to the earth. I'm going to swing back to the center. From here, we're going to take our legs wide into bear sit. So taking the legs or the feet just outside of the knees, hands come to namaskar. We're going to bring those to the heart center. Find that your elbows go just below the inside of the adductor here. So not into the knee or into the calf. We want to feel it so it's pressing on the inside of that thigh there, but closer towards the knee. Elbows into the knee, and use that energy to pull the thighs back towards the back of the mat. Lengthen through the back body on the inhale, and as you exhale, see if you can surrender a little bit more into this shape. Just working on the mobility into the hip joint. This is more in flexibility because we're using the elbows to move the leg. So we're working external rotation here of the femur, which is this big leg bone at the top of the leg. Inhale, lengthen through the back body. And exhale, see if you can release into that stretch. We're going to take 2 more breaths together. Inhale. Exhale, see if you can find some peace here. 1 more round. And release. Take the hands by the side body and drop your right knee in towards the center. So both knees are facing towards the left. Then we're going to roll on over to the other side. So rolling the left knee into the center and the right out to the side of the mat. We're going to do that another 2 times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale as you come back through center. Exhale as you release down. 1 more round. Inhale, together. Exhale. Inhale through the center and exhale. Coming back to our center space now. And bring the feet a little closer, and you can use the hands to lift you here, but we're coming into a Vedasana squat. So find yourself shifting the body weight side to side. For some of us, this shape is really easy, and for others we're really challenged in this space. So if you're super challenged here, you can roll a towel up and place that underneath each heel, or you can use a block until you find stability. You might even like to back it up and use the wall to support you during this shape. If you're comfortable in your Vedasana, come into your yogi squat, elbows or the tricep rather, pressing into the inside of the thigh, just below the knee. Inhale and find a little length here. We're going to stay here together for another 3 breaths. Finding that beautiful inhale and exhale. The inhale is giving you a little length through the spine, and you might even find that you can squeeze and lift up a little. And the exhale may be surrendering a little bit deeper and opening up into the hips. Vedasana is really great for creating some more flexibility in the ankle joints, in the knees and in the hips. Reaching the arms forward, we're going to sit back down on the earth. So try and engage the core. Reach, 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 and allow the butt to come down to the earth. Let's take the legs forward and find our Navasana or boat pose. I'm going to turn side on. So this is your first variation of Navasana. If you'd like to extend the legs away a little further, you're more than welcome to do that. We're going to take another 2 breaths here. And then we're going to come down to low boat because that's super fun. So take 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold your low boat here for 5, 4, 3, 2. We're lifting back up to Navasana. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, I promise. Down to low boat. Just breathe and be. The core is a beautiful thing. It's like hungry. So if you work a little bit harder, a little bit more, it doesn't get tired, it just wants more. Inhale back up to your Navasana. Exhale, bring the feet down to the earth. Separate the feet, and we're going to come back into our Malasana, so use the hands to lift back up. And just re-find your Malasana or yogi squat. Inhale, lengthen through the back body. Exhale, surrender or sink a little lower. We're going to bring the hands down to the mat. Lift the hips and step back into downward facing dog. Find a little bit of movement here. Walk your dog. Bending one knee then the other. Taking your heels down towards the mat. Pressing the hands away from you. And pressing the heels back into the mat. See if you can find a little stillness in this shape. Gazing towards the hands. We're going to lift the left leg and step that between the feet, the hands. Dropping that back, right knee down to the earth and uncurling the toe. So a lot of the time when we're in this stretch, we are working into the hip flexor here. I'm going to invite you to bring your hands onto the inside of your foot, and we're going to open the hips a little bit. So a little bit of an unusual stretch this morning, and pull them back in the other direction. So almost like you're sinking the hips over to the right, and then you're going to press the hips out to the left. And so what you want to feel is this separation of the left hip away from the right. Inhale back to center, and then exhale. This stretch comes around through the back of the hip and up into the waist as well. Coming back through center, feeling a little stretch here. It's kind of unusual, and that's okay. Coming back to center, walk that foot back in. Take an inhale breath and surrender the hips down towards the earth. Now you can stay here with the hands planted on the earth, or you can bring the hands up towards the knee. Make sure you're tracking this knee towards the midline and sending that back foot back towards the back of the mat. So really pressing the shin into the earth, taking some of that pressure off the knee. 2 more rounds of breath here. The inhale is to create a little length, and the exhale should find you going a little deeper into the stretch. This stretch is called Anjaneyasana. Bring the hands back down towards the earth. Tuck the back right toes. Step back into downward facing dog. We're going to swap it over and do that same stretch on the right side. So you can inhale and lift the right foot. Bring that knee into the chest and step your right foot between your hands. Drop the back left knee down to the earth. Uncurl the toes, and this is where we start to press the shin into the earth. Walking the right foot out. My hands are on the inside of my foot. And I'm going to start by sending my right hip towards the right. And I'm going to bring it back and send the left hip towards the left. Just breathing as you go through and finding this movement. This is where we are really exploring, being yogi explorers, going on that little adventure on our rubber rectangles. Send the right hip to the right, left hip to the left, and then come back to center. Walking your right foot into center, planting the hands at either side. Again, take note of what your back leg's doing, and see if you can send or drag that back left foot towards the back of the mat. You can either stay here in your Anjaneyasana, or alternative, bring the hands up to the knees. Take an inhale breath as you lengthen. Exhale as you deepen this stretch or shape. One of the things we like to remember as we find ourselves in Anjaneyasana is to always engage the belly or the core. So you want to be pulling the belly back towards the spine, and that's going to create a slight posterior tilt here so that you maintain some length through the lumbar spine and you're not coming into a back bend. We're just focused on opening up through the hips and creating a little bit of length there in the hip flexors. Exhale and release the hands down to the mat. Tuck the back left toes, lift up into your high lunge and step back to downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to come into our plank pose. And if you'd like, you can lower down onto the knees, or if you're feeling super strong, you can come through chaturanga, and we're coming all the way down to the mat. Exhale, you can pause here, build a little strength, or lower all the way down. I want you to reach back with the left hand and grab hold of the left foot and pull that heel into the butt, giving your quadricep, that big muscle in the front of the leg, a nice stretch. Reach around with the other hand if that's available to you, and pull the heel directly into your left butt cheek. Now, if you're feeling a bit groovy, you can start to lift the knee off the earth. Give yourself a little bit of extra something there. Exhale and release. So you can keep the head rested on the mat as you do this stretch. Quite often we do this one standing quad stretch. It's nice to do it lying on the floor as well. A little bit of respite at the same time. And you can feel the pressure of the quad into the mat and the depth of which you're stretching. And also sometimes when you're lying on the floor in this prone position, helps with alignment because you can feel where the knees are touching or if the heel's in line with the butt, and you're obviously in a more stable space. Reaching around with that left hand, pulling that heel, right heel into your butt, you can start to lift that right knee off the earth if that's available to you. Exhale and release. Bring both hands underneath the shoulders, elbows into the waist. Inhale, lift for a baby cobra. Exhale, send the hips back and come into your child's pose. So we're in a traditional shaped child's pose here, but we are going to take a little bit of rest in wide-legged child's pose so that we can continue with that hip opening. So you can come back through tabletop, take the knees a little bit wider, as wide as the mat, send the hips back towards the heels, take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, allow the heart to come down to the mat. So this is where I'm going to leave you resting for the next 10 breaths in this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed working on your hip mobility and flexibility this morning, and I look forward to seeing you in our next tutorial. Have a great day, yogis. Ciao, ciao.